So I'm Dawn Robinson. I'm a premier leader. Yay, Shanae can hear me. I'm a premier leader of the Pashu Llamas. I have about 43 fantastic ladies on my team. And if you didn't see the little intro post about me yesterday, go check it out. It has some of my background. But I wanted to talk today about follow-ups. So follow-ups are one of those things, if you've been in direct sales any length of time, you know you should be doing. Everybody knows you're supposed to be following up, right? Fortune's in the follow-up. Because especially in the type of sales that we have, where we have a consumable product, where we have a product that people will need to reorder, especially if they love it, which why wouldn't they? I mean, our stuff is great. If you want them to continue ordering, you are going to have to follow up. It's not that it never happens, but it's a lot less likely that someone is just going to go on your site and just reorder when they need stuff if you are not front of mind to them. And the way you do that is by following up. Now, the way we used to do it is, of course, with VIP groups, but it is getting harder and harder for people in groups to see your content. They're not seeing it all the time. It may come up on their newsfeed, but unless they're a die-hard posh person, which if that's the case, they should probably be on your team. They're not seeing your content every day. It's not just getting thrown at them passively through your VIP group. You're going to have to actively reach out and follow up with someone. And I'm telling you, this is the best bang for your buck. If you're just putting content out on Facebook, which is necessary too, that's marketing. But the most bang for your buck is going to be actually talking to people one-on-one. I mean, that's why this is considered network marketing. You're networking, you're connecting with people. And that connection is actual one-on-one connection. It really is, Sinead. One-on-one follow-ups is the only way. And for me personally, I am horrible about keeping my VIP updated. I'm just really not good at it. I have a full-time job and I have kids at home and dogs and all that stuff. So I'm not really good at doing that, but I like the one-on-one follow-up. For me, it's a little bit easier because I am a type A personality. I'm outgoing. But I kind of like it because I can just fit it in a few minutes here and there whenever I have a chance. Like, I don't need a huge block of time in focus to be able to sit down and do it. I can, even take 15 minutes. It doesn't even have to be a full power hour. It can just be 15 minutes while I'm eating my lunch and just knock out a few follow-up messages, right? It doesn't take a whole lot of time, which really fits in well with my schedule, which is why I love it. Now, so all of us know we should be doing this. That's pretty, standard. You're supposed to be following up. But where a lot of people have issue is, what do you do when people just don't respond? You may follow up with them being like, Susie, I know you ordered BFF last month and wanted to check in, see how, if you got your order, if everything was good with that, how did you like the product? Wanted to make sure that everything was good with your order. And then you just get crickets, like you don't hear anything. Or even, someone that you may not even have a full business relationship with yet. Maybe it's someone that you had as a guest at a party, that you gave samples to, all kinds of different reasons, but they are connected to your business already in some way, that you're following up with them to make sure you're giving them a touch point with your business, and they just may not be responding. They're ghosting you, right? And it feels horrible because in our mind, we equate getting ghosted as a no. And that's not necessarily the case. There are lots of reasons why people don't respond to messages. And no is one of them, that they just don't, whatever they feel like you're asking for, especially if your follow-up is very direct, like, I wanted to see if you wanted to host a party, or I wanted to see if you wanted to join my team, people are more likely to not say anything than to say no, because as humans, we just don't like that word. We don't like saying no. We don't like hearing no, and we don't like saying no. We would rather say nothing than say no. Now, don't take that personally. Don't make it feel like, you're a failure as a consultant just because someone doesn't want to, participate in this sale or doesn't want to host this month or whatever. Now, if this is somebody who you have a direct relationship with, so if this is friends and family, not purely business related, then you want to approach it a little bit differently and make sure you're not just spamming them. I've had lots of times where I've been ghosted by friends and family when I've asked them, when I've followed up on Posh business-wise. If you just turn right around and you give them an update or ask them something that's totally unrelated to sales, 8 times out of 10 maybe, they'll go ahead and, if you pretend like whatever you asked in regards to Posh, if you totally disregard it and just ask them something personal, then it'll be like it never happened. Like they'll continue talking to you and messaging you again, which is the main goal when you've been ghosted and you're trying to reconnect with somebody. It's just to get them to respond. And one of the best ways to do that is non-sales related, not business related. So you're just trying to get them to respond again, right? So that your follow-up can be effective if they've completely ghosted you. So that's kind of what we're talking about today, is how are you getting them to respond to you again? So if it's friends and family, something personal is definitely the way to go. If it's somebody who's more business oriented with you, your only connection with them is through Posh, then it's going to be a little bit different. And again, our main goal is just to get them talking and communicating with you again, not necessarily to make the sale. And I think that that is one of the things that people get really hung up with. They are so focused on getting the sale or getting the host or getting the teammate that they really turn people off. It becomes spammy. And so really you're just trying to have a conversation. Trying to have a conversation with people. Hi, Amber. And to get that conversation going. You don't want a one-way conversation. Conversations are two-way. And if you're just talking at someone, that's not a conversation. So in order to get that conversation flowing again and getting them to respond, either friends and family, you're going to do something personal, or if it's someone who's just business related, you want to do what's called an update and deflect. And so one of the homework assignments I have for you guys after this training is today to practice this with 5 people that you need to follow up with, that you have not heard from, that they have not responded back in a month or more. So this is what we're going for. So these are people that you have not talked to in a long time. So a month or more, I want you to try out this update and deflection technique. All right, so what is this? So I'm going over my notes. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. All right, so what is the update? So really, again, this is not focused on getting a sale. This is focused on restarting communication. So for your update, you want to make sure that it's more about you and not about them. And that sounds very backwards because it's supposed to be, all about your customer. But when I say it that way, is that you're not focusing on what they have done and that you haven't heard from them in a while, that you haven't heard back from when you asked them the last time. Hey, it's been a long time since you've ordered, or haven't heard from you a while. You want it to be, this update, you want it to be about you. Why haven't you contacted? It's the communication issue is on your end, not on their end, right? So I'm so sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I've been busy. Let me catch you up on what I've been up to. Those kind of things. Like, you want it to be, the update to be about you, not, hey, what are you doing? Why haven't I heard back from you? So you want to be a little bit postured with it. You don't want it to be that you've been sitting there for the past month when you haven't heard from them, you know, just standing by, you know, you get this vision of someone sitting by their phone waiting for it to ring. Like, that hasn't been you. You've been living your life. And if you haven't, then pretend you've been living your life. And you're not waiting, you know, begging for them for the sale. You're doing stuff, right? So you want it to be, hey, you've been busy doing stuff, but you're following up with them now, okay? And you're giving them this update. So what is this update? It can be a personal update, like, oh, you know, I just wanted to follow up with you because I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to do that. Kids are finally out of school. Got them all set up, you know, for their camps for the summer. So I finally had a little bit of breathing room and wanted to make sure I got in touch with you. You know, I've just been in Hawaii for an incentive trip with Posh. So things have been a little bit crazy, but now I'm able to get back and follow up with you. So personal updates, company events, like going on an incentive trip, Uncon, doing training with your team, like those are excellent because it shows that you're really, really involved with the company. But even company updates, like we just had a new product launch, or, you know, I just set up my team for a new incentive. Those are really great too. So you're giving the update, and then you're going to do a deflection. So this is part of that posturing that I've been talking about, or, you know, kind of inferring that you're not sitting there by the phone waiting, right? You may not be hearing back from them, but it's not a big deal. And it really isn't, right? And how you do your deflection is a little bit going to be dependent on what your update is. But you do want to do you know anyone? So a little bit we're talking about that ghosting doesn't necessarily mean no, but it could mean no. But that doesn't mean that it's no, that they don't want to speak to you again. Maybe it's just no, not right now, or no, they don't want that particular thing you were asking about. Good morning, Jamie. So you want to be, do you know anyone? Do you know anyone what? So it kind of depends on what you want from this person. So is it sales? Is it hosting? Is it, you know, whatever. Now let's say I'm doing recruiting, right? The big scary one. And my update to this person, this is someone who's on my dream team, and my update to them is that I was just on an incentive trip to Hawaii, right? So I'd be like, hi Tina, I'm so sorry I haven't gotten back to you in a while. I've been crazy busy. I just got back from Hawaii with the incentive trip with Posh. So I haven't really had a chance to get with some of my really good customers like you. I was just wondering, do you happen to know anybody who might be a great fit for my team that might be interested in going on great incentive trips? If you know anyone, let me know. If not, I'll catch up with you later. Thanks. You know, something real simple like that. Now notice, I'm not asking her if she wants to. In fact, I may have in the past. She's obviously part of my dream team list that I want. But it's asking, do you know someone else? Now, what's really great about this is, number one, you might actually get a referral, right? Like, we love referrals. You might actually get a referral. But it also kind of takes a little bit of the pressure and gets them off the defensive. When someone's ghosting you, they're being defensive, right? It's a defensive mechanism. And when you're asking about someone else for a referral, you're taking that pressure off of them so that they're no longer defensive. And then they may actually start thinking, well, hey, I'm interested in that. So I use the extreme, but the higher end example of using for, you know, recruiting. But let's say my update is a new product launch. Hey Tina, sorry I've been so crazy busy. We just had a new product launch, so I'm making sure I get my team all set up for that. We have all these great new products that now we've launched, so I'm starting to go do my follow-ups again. Do you happen to know anyone that would be interested in getting a new catalog and some samples? So notice I'm not asking her if she wants a catalog and samples. She hasn't responded back to me in over a month. but I'm asking to someone else. She may immediately come back and say, I'm interested. You know what? I'm interested in new catalog and samples. It takes that pressure off of them and gets them off the defensive so that they're actually listening to what it is you're asking. A lot of times, if someone's already in that mode that they're being spammed or, they're just not interested, then they totally don't even listen to what you're asking of them. It's a lot less pressure, and it really helps them listen to what you're saying, and they're much more likely to respond. Again, you're almost giving them two choices. They can either say themselves, or they can even give you a referral. And it can be that someone's like, that's not really for me, but maybe they do know somebody that would be a perfect fit for our product or hosting a party or joining your team. And yes, like Jamie says, FOMO is a real thing, and people do have FOMO. It's like, oh man, that sounds great, and I really want that for myself, right? So those are, and real simple, right? Pretty easy. It's not, the best things are the simplest things, right? So update, deflect, update, deflect, update, deflect. And you can mix and match this all you want. And so it sounds easy, but of course it's a lot more complicated because you're thinking, how are you doing your update? But it's a formula that you can use anytime and pretty much however long, whether it's been, you haven't talked to somebody in a week, a month, a year, doesn't matter, right? You can go ahead and do an update, tell them, hey, this is what I've been doing, and go right into that deflection. Do you know anyone? And again, you're not waiting for them to respond because they may or may not, and that's okay. Do you know anyone? If you do, let me know. Otherwise, we'll catch up some more later. And just leave it at that. And you can continue doing that ad nauseum. Now, how long should you be doing this follow-up? Pretty much until you or them die. You will always continue to follow up, even if you don't hear from someone. You never know when things are going to change and they're going to become interested. And, again, you're not waiting on them. You're doing other stuff. Unless they tell you specifically that they don't want you to follow up anymore. If they say, no, thank you, I'm no longer interested, take me off your list type thing. Or if they're rude. Obviously, if someone's rude, then you don't want them as a customer or teammate or host. So then you would take them off your list. But otherwise, just keep following up. And the other thing that I will point out about this method is obviously no sales. I think that should go without saying, but you will ruin everything you said prior to that if you go at the end, oh, by the way, we have a sale that's happening today. No. You are just trying to get them to respond. Do not do any sales. Do not ask them any further questions. That's something you can do after you are having a conversation with them again. Okay? So, again, challenge 5 people that you want to follow up with today that you have not spoken to in a month or more. And you want to give them an update. What have you been doing? And then you want to do a deflection. Do you know anyone? Blank. If you do, thanks. Let me know, and I'll get back to you soon. That's it. It's crazy because it's so simple. But I do have to run. I have another appointment here soon. Because I do work full time. I have another meeting coming up. But if anybody has any questions about this, please let me know. Or if you have a specific situation that you're wondering, how should I handle this? What kind of update should I do? If you want to throw out some ideas for updates, or if you want some feedback on verbiage, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Let's work together and collaborate and get through this, okay?